Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, August 24th, 2018. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Primary school teachers here are seizing the opportunity to upgrade their skills in the teaching of health and family life education. Teachers from primary schools at Belair, Brighton, Gome and Stubbs were today engaged in a workshop looking at best practices in the teaching of the subject. According to Health and Family Education Coordinator Heather Richards McCollum, the workshop forms part of Professional Development Week as teachers prepare to return to school on the 3rd of September.
It is part of a series of training that the teachers are engaged in, where they are learning, they are being retooled to teach health and family life education using the life skills-based approach. Prior to this sort of training, teachers would use what we call the traditional approach or the chalk and talk approach. But the Ministry of Education has a mandate to help teachers to understand that HFLE is best taught by building skills and having the children actively engage in learning as they develop these skills. Well, the thing is, right, the teachers, they are the disseminators of information, right, and they have the students as the clientele every day, and so we support them from the Ministry of Education to teach them how they should impart this knowledge. And so this workshop today, I'm almost certain that when they go back to school come the 3rd of September, that they will be better able to deliver the HFLE curriculum in the way it really should be delivered.
McCollum said the participation of teachers was excellent, and she's confident that the workshop will have a positive impact on students.
Very much enjoying the session. We started with after the opening remarks, we did what is called an icebreaker, where I modeled how an HFLE class should in effect start with a stimulatory activity where we all went outside and we did an activity that is kind of similar to musical chairs, where you must find a partner, you know, when I make a statement, or you're kind of like out, and they really enjoyed it and they're very much involved in the discussion. You could see a change, you know, actually taking place right before, you know, my very eyes. So I'm really happy that the teachers are embracing this new information.
Meanwhile, Dennis Games, proprietor of Games Bookstore, said he was delighted to partner with the Ministry of Education in providing the necessary learning materials. Games said health and family life education is crucial to the development of children and encouraged teachers to absorb as much knowledge as possible.
So we're hoping that this series will impact the teachers, the students, which would make a change to the class, the school, and the community in general. So we're looking forward to pushing HFLE in such a way as to impact the nation. So HFLE, which is going to be done in every school from grade K to Form 3, I think it would be a great achievement for it. Yes, I would encourage teachers to also try and empower themselves with more material with regards to HFLE. There are a lot of materials in the newspapers, on YouTube, and also try and acquire books that can help you to develop, because HFLE is a wide range of issues that has to be dealt with. Developing life skills is one of the most important part of the development of a student. So I would encourage teachers to continue to grow and grow as wide as you can.
SVG-TV News also spoke with some of the participants who believe the workshop will be a game changer in the teaching of health and family life education.
Enjoying the program, and I have learned that there are dominant skills, meaning the ones that you teach or focus on, and I realized that, well, I have been teaching for almost 2 years, and I was basically trying to teach more than one skill, and I wasn't sure about that, but now I am sure, and I believe that come September things are going to be great. It's going to be different. Yes, I believe so, because we would clear up some misconceptions, we would get more ideas and how we can implement them. Sometimes we think that we know so much, but when you come to workshops like these, you realize, oh, there's so many things that I do not know and I can put in place and that I can reinforce based on what I have done before.
I am very enthusiastic about this workshop. The fact that I'm learning how to use the various life skills to help the students to better understand the topics in health and family life education. Whereas before we were using the traditional approach, treating it like a note subject, because we normally term health family life education as a note subject. But from this workshop, we're helping to understand that teachers need to get down to business and to be actively engaged in their lesson.
And all teachers should be a part of this?
Yes, and I believe that all teachers from various schools, not only primary schools, but the secondary school as well, should be a part of this workshop.
Around 60 children between the ages of 4 and 14 displayed the skills and talents they developed during the summer holidays as VINSAVE concluded its 6-week summer program today. SVG-TV Bhavin Oliver has more in this report.
With song, dance and drum, the children who attended the VINSAVE summer program showed the audience who gathered for today's closing ceremony that their time during the summer was well spent. Executive Director of VINSAVE, Janice Fraser, said the program gave children the opportunity to unearth hidden talent in a fun environment. She said it also serves as a means of preparing the children for the upcoming school year, which begins on the 3rd of September.
I should say that children should not be left unattended. So we sort of enhance their skills, their strengths through the programs that we offer. Whatever we offer, we do it in a playful way because we don't want to go back into the school setting, but we offer activities that interest them and help them to grow and to further develop. So, you know, it benefits the child because in many instances you see hidden talents coming forward. You know, we also see some problems that children may have. You know, they may have problems in writing and reading. So when we see that, we try to help them to correct that in preparation for school.
The VINSAVE Executive Director said the program was well received by the children.
Definitely, particularly in the cultural show that you see up there. We see a lot of children with talents in terms of your dance, in terms of the whole question of the music, playing the drums. That it didn't take very long, 6 weeks, and you could see that many of them have grasped it. Some of them have never did it before. They never did it before. So out of that now, we as an agency have decided that we'd harness those talents with the children that you see, the older ones. So we'd keep them for the year and try to instill some sort of values and the whole question of the continuation of those talents in the children. I was even telling my teachers that perhaps we could even start with the preschoolers because we run a preschool also. So the older ones, the 4 to 5s, we try to see how we could encourage that kind of activity in our preschool sector, in addition to holding the bigger ones in a group situation.
Here is a sample of the children's talent in drum and song. For SVG-TV Evening News, I am Bhavin Oliver.
The government has suspended the importation of 3 herbicides due to health-related issues. However, the Ministry of Agriculture says farmers can still use these chemicals, but must adhere to the necessary precautions. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Deputy Chief Agriculture Officer Renato Gums, who is also the Secretary of the Pesticides Board, said that farmers are aware of the suspension and also the dangers of the pesticides. Larissa Pogsley-Kidd has more.
Roundup, Touchdown, and Glyphosate are the three chemicals that the Ministry of Agriculture has immediately suspended its importation. Secretary of the Pesticide Board, Renato Gomes, said they have been following an issue in the United States on the health impacts on people's lives and felt it necessary to have a suspension in SVG.
There has always been contentious issues regarding glyphosate as a cancer-causing agent. And these three compounds that we use, these three pesticides, actually contain that as the active ingredient. You may be aware of the recent case in the US where there was a big lawsuit and the court awarded hundreds of millions. So it kind of added impetus. We had discussed it previously that we had to take action against some of the pesticides that are used in St. Vincent, trying to bring in less harmful ones. And this kind of accelerated the whole thing, and we just took the decision to put a restriction, not a ban, we restrict the importation.
Gomes, who is also the Deputy Chief Agricultural Officer, said there is still a large quantity of the three pesticides in stock, hence the suspension and not a ban. He said persons will be sensitized on the use of these chemicals, but in the meantime, farmers can still purchase them. However, they are being advised to be properly equipped when handling these pesticides.
All pesticides come with some form of danger, all. So it's the obligation also of the user to use all the necessary protective gear available to protect yourself, and of course you have to protect the environment. So we must be mindful of that. We could say, oh, ban this, ban that, but it's still the obligation to protect yourself with all the necessary protective gear.
The Chief Agriculture Officer, Ashley Kane, said the Ministry of Agriculture will review the decision in 2 months' time, and the Pesticide Board is anticipating that farmers will apply the old methods of farming practices that are more environmentally friendly.
The thinking is to have chemicals which can give you control, but which do not have the same level of toxicity or impact across the board. And the question would be, how can we relearn the production techniques which allow us to grow crops and to make a good return on our investment while maintaining the environment in a very good condition. In the old time days, Nato, Peller's farm on the mountainside with the hoe, and they learned certain techniques for ensuring that they got a good crop, while at the same time not losing soil and all that, which put...
SVG-TV spoke with two farmers who said they are aware of the dangers and improper use of the chemicals and explained how they apply them.
You have a gauge, you just throw this in a gauge and then you throw the gauge in the spray can and you just deal with water after. In the spray can, full spray can with water. No, that's really full, but you spray can have a mark.
Well, you see, Grandma Zone is best, you know. I mean, I really believe in them, yeah. For plants, fruits and things. Like, you know, food, like potato and so on. Because them, you know, I believe them chemical, yeah. Those really stop long for plants to produce and them. It's more better for Grandma Zone. Because Grandma Zone only just a bunny grass and them. Them are not going down to Grandma Zone, not going down to your earth. So right now, I believe in them here. Only if you believe in them here, if like no, you know what, you spread them, and you know want the place to know. You understand? You could leave a place for like a year or something. For a place could really come out, you know, out here. But I believe in them here.
Reporting for SVG-TV News, I am Larissa Pogsley-Kidd.
Diabetes remains the third leading cause of death in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and has left many persons living with mission legs. Available data show that more than half the population is overweight, which is one of the main contributing factors to persons developing diabetes. While the Ministry of Health is monitoring the incidence and prevalence rates, persons are being encouraged to get involved in more physical activities. Larissa Pogsley-Kidd reports.
More than 120 new cases of diabetes were recorded each year for the past 2 years, and 85 deaths resulted. This is according to epidemiologist within the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Tamara Bob, who was speaking with SVG-TV News on data collected in 2016. She said these figures are in fact higher since data is gathered only from the public health facilities and not the private institutions. The data shows that 60.5% of the population in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not engaging in rigorous activities, which has led to persons becoming overweight and obese. The data shows that 54% are overweight and 26.6% are obese.
Preventable by making certain lifestyle changes. So persons that are overweight or obese can actually reduce their risk of developing diabetes by taking measures to reduce their weight. We saw that about 67% of women were actually overweight, and about 40% of men were overweight, in the overweight category. So those persons are at risk of developing diabetes.
Bob said there are many health conditions which are developed if persons do not treat the disease. She pointed to some of the major life-threatening ones.
Developing, well, you have the loss of limb, you have blindness and so forth, and there are other things that come with developing diabetes. You have kidney failure and so forth. So it's very dangerous, but it's preventable.
There is a 3.3% prevalence rate of morbidity among persons with diabetes and hypertension. In addition, there are over 1,700 persons living with diabetes in SVG, of which 468 have had a limb amputated.
Amputations are due to diabetic foot ulcers. Okay, so once a person has diabetes, they're at risk of developing these ulcers. The most common amputations are the amputations of the toe, right? And this is to prevent the ulcer from moving further up. But then you have persons where it has progressed, so then you have the above and below knee amputation.
Following the survey, which was carried out in 2016, the Ministry of Health has put measures in place to bring diabetes under control. The Herberprot P medication has since been introduced, and this is said to have helped reduce the number of amputations. And last week, the Taiwan government handed over funds to the government, which will go towards a 3-year capacity building project for the prevention and control of the disease. Reporting for SVG-TV News, I am Larissa Pugsley-Kidd.
The Kingdom Life Youth Ministry Department of the Pentecostal Assemblies of the West Indies, PAWI, is coming to the aid of the Barody construction worker who was injured while at work. The team of young people is having a benefit concert tomorrow, Saturday the 25th August, at the Arnisvale Sports Complex from 7 p.m. under the theme Arise. Kenroy Cruikshank, who is the main coordinator, said Edson Gordon fell into a sewage tank and is now partially paralyzed.
The concert is a benefit concert that the KLM, Kingdom Life Ministries Youth Department, raising funds to help in financing a guy who had injury on work to sustain him and his family after the surgery. After his surgery, because he's the breadwinner for his family. He has a wife and 2 children. So we are there to help him until he gets back on his feet.
Guyanese gospel artist Samuel Midas will headline the concert and will also witness performances from a number of top local artists.